What's going on? Welcome back. Ryan here. In this video, we're going to talk about income statements. Before we talked about balance sheets, right? So the balance sheet are the assets and the liabilities of a company. And the income statement is usually for a selected period of time, right? Where you're showing the revenue and the expenses of the company for a given period, right? So, again, we're not going to dig too deep into, going through these things, but just know, again, that we can come into the SEC, we can come into the filings, go back into the Edgar, right? Go into the full search. Let's type in maybe Amazon, right? So here's Amazon. Then we can come in here and we could look at like a 10Q quarterly report. And you could see, okay, the financial statements. Here's the balance sheet. When we go back up, now we have, right, the cash flow, right? So important to just know the difference, right, between the balance sheet being, the assets and the liabilities versus the income statement, which would be like a P&L statement of, the revenues and the expenses for a given time, right? So when we think about this and we relate it to trading, right, if we're like trying to evaluate a company, right, a strong balance sheet would be where a company owns a lot of assets and they have little to no liabilities, right? And a strong income statement, right, where a company would have, really strong revenue with very little expense, right? And we could look at, the other side of that where like a weak balance sheet would be, not that many assets and lots of liabilities, and a weak P&L statement or a weak income statement where you would have, very high expenses with little to no revenue, maybe no revenue at all, right? Which then is not giving you any net income. Okay, so again, really important to understand, right? Income statement being, the revenues and the expenses for a given time period versus, the balance sheet where we're looking at the assets and the liabilities. So again, you can come into the SEC, look these companies up, look up their filings, and dig away at your own convenience and really, dig into these things if you haven't already. So I'm excited. We're moving forward. We're getting through these concepts, and I know that they're going to help you. So as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.